You can't group all family members together. Okay, okay. So let's say that suddenly, once Trump got into office, RFK Jr., who could have wrote his Fauci book decades ago, but suddenly came out with a bunch of truth because, I mean, RFK Jr. knew he was never going to win, but he wanted to get enough promotion and get highlight by everyone so that he could get into the administration. The Kennedys have gotten away with shit for years, forever, because they're viewed as really the Camelot family. So, but let's take away the Epstein thing, because I'm not saying he did anything with Epstein. I mean, some of the people that were on these flights, you can't, I mean, Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing. He was blackmailing. So, but I don't think we'll really get, how are we ever going to know the truth, really? I don't know. You have to be able to discern, I guess. But the fact is that RFK Jr. never really liked Trump. Didn't. He made it kind of clear in podcasts. And you know, and Trump said he's the stupidest of all the Kennedys. But they get away with everything. So let's put away the Epstein, or put away, you know, that they were friends with Ghislaine. Let's write that off, because that's a good idea. There's too many other things, such as this. So this is the man that will be in charge of your food. Yeah, this, and he's told this story. Okay, first of all, if you saw a dead bear on the side of the road, would it be your first instinct, let me stick it in the back of my car? And he says because he was going to take it home and then, you know, have it for meat some day. But then he drove to the airport, realized I can't leave it in the car because it'll smell by the time I come back. So decided instead to go put the dead cub in the middle of Central Park. And he just happened to have in his car some old bicycle that he was going to get rid of. But he decided I'll put the bicycle on top of the bear, and he thought that would be funny. He thought that people would think that's funny. Like, look, the bicycle ran the bear down. Like, now what would most of us do? First of all, seeing a dead bear on the side of the road, probably just drive past it, right? Or if you really wanted to do something called animal control. But highly doubt many would be sticking the bear in the back of their car. And even if you would you be taking pictures like this with your fingers in the bear's mouth? And, you know, look, I mean, there's blood all over the inside of his car. But this wasn't just his only fascination with dead animals. There was the whale that some friend called him and said, yeah, this dead whale, I guess, I don't know, got speared, something happened to it, and it came up on shore. He let Kennedy know, and he dropped everything, put the kids in the car, went out to go get it, and then tied it to the roof of the car, but it stunk. And since it stunk so bad, they needed to have the windows open, and he has his kids in the back seat. And so to handle the car ride, the kids had plastic bags over their faces, because to have the windows open meant the blood from the whale, and it's just, all of it is just coming in the windows at them. So they stuck plastic bags over their heads. Okay, so, but I'm, you know, totally normal. And then there's the fact that, look, he's a narcissist, okay? RFK Jr. is a narcissist. His second wife killed herself, likely because of him. I think there's rumors about that too. He's a narcissist. He is. He is. He's a narcissist. Look at the curse, the Kennedy family curse. What do you think that really goes back to? So think bigger here. What do you think that's really about? Because there's been a lot of sacrifices in that family. Just saying. You know, to get the kind of power and prestige and status the Kennedys, the Camelot families had. Well, a lot of sacrifices have to be made. So you can act like it's just about Epstein. It's not. I don't say what I do just because of that. Because, even though there's somebody's name on the list, it doesn't mean that they did anything wrong. It's just that it's that added with the rest of everything. And again, he could have put his book out about Fauci a couple decades ago. He's come on to some of these mothers, that have come to him for help because of vaccine injury and stuff. Like, he could have done, these women were coming to him long time ago. He also he's so far radical left. Even Trump posted this, that he's more left than Joe Biden. So when you're that far radical left, you're in the camp where you stand with that the Americans stole this land from the Indians, okay? Which I'm so sick of that bullshit. Because the Indians didn't own all of America. So I just get sick of that bullshit altogether. But that's where he stands. He doesn't say it, but that's why he's a huge environmentalist. Yeah, he's been in charge of our waters. So why are we hearing about the whole water problem if he's been the one that runs a lot of it? Yeah, him and his organizations. He was totally tied to the 17 unsustainable development goals. He was all for it. So I don't think the Kennedys have ever been, maybe some of them, maybe at one time, and I don't want to judge JFK because, the man was shot to death. But, was he on, maybe, some of the things he did, he thought he was doing the right thing. I don't really know. It seems like there were a lot of things went downhill after the JFK, then his dad gets shot, and yet his dad was very tied to the Indians and going out to the reservations, even though a lot of them can't vote. And then you get your, people your radicals that come along and say they should be allowed to vote. Yeah, but they live on the land and they don't have to abide by our rules. Do you get what I'm saying? So those reservations, they don't have to follow the American. They get to govern themselves the way they want. That's what people need to understand about the Indian reservations. They have their own elections, their own they do. And yet they have their land, okay? But you get these radicals that come along and say, no, they should be allowed to vote. And some of them will say that. And it's like, okay, then how do you want it to be that you get to live in your own separate government system, but yet you want to vote in ours? Like, it makes, so that's the reason I have issues with Tulsi too, besides the fact that Hinduism stuff, okay? That radical, which is a radical Hinduism crap, is all through the government right now. Again, not going after somebody's religion, but they seem more loyal to people that don't like America. And that's where he ends up standing a lot of times. That's why the Kennedys have always gotten away with shit, always. Hell, look at, what's his name? I always forget his name. He was in Congress until he died. I can't remember his name. He was a Kennedy. He was the one that was drunk driving with some girl, Mary Jo something, and I can't remember her name, going way back. And they went into, what were they, in the Hamptons? I can't even remember. Chesapeake Bay. That's it, Chesapeake Bay. The car went in, and he got himself out of there and left her to drown. Got away with that shit. The Kennedys always do. They get away with everything. So he could have came out with his book about Fauci a couple decades ago. I don't believe his family is even against him. Maybe some of them are. Who knows? But all they want to do is stop Trump. That's what people need to understand. These people aren't just going to lay down. They're going to try to set Trump up, and people need to see it. So it's not just the Epstein. That's just on top of everything else.